Welcome to Season 3 of Girls' Night Out, a sci-fi romance in 5 episodes. I am Jen Lyles, the voice of Laine. Episode 2 of Season 3 is up next.
I had been invited to a meeting of the Feelrite board. They had been fighting Tasha Van Fielein in the court, so I was expecting them to quiz me on my experience. But I was in for a surprise. I was greeted by my former colleague, Norman Fielding.
Welcome, Grace! Please, have a seat. I believe you know everyone. Grace, the Fountain of Youth scandal and Purrgate have really damaged Feelrite's reputation. I know this, you know this. Feelrite wants a clean slate. New leadership to take us out of the doldrums. Someone who stands for integrity, science, and truth. We seem to have lost some of these values along the way.
What Norman is trying to say, Grace, is we would like to offer you the role of CEO.
Oh?
Grace, you and I haven't always gotten along, but one thing I do know, you're a fighter.
Norman had no idea how true his statement was. I could light his hair on fire if I felt like it. And I always felt like it with Norman Fielding. Why does Feelrite need a fighter?
Grace, Feelrite stock is at its lowest value in 18 years. We are vulnerable.
An organization is buying up shares and is close to having a majority.
Which organization?
LifeStream.
Is this takeover a done deal?
Not entirely. We are contacting all the major shareholders.
But Grace, you should know, the CEO role will probably be a bumpy ride.
I appreciate your honesty and the opportunity. I'll think about it and I'll let you know by the end of the week. You know LifeStream, Griffin? Such a lovely name for such an evil company. LifeStream is the world leader in genetically modified food. Fruits, vegetables, grains, dairy, meat, you name it. LifeStream had a genetically modified version that often outperformed the organic, naturally sourced variety. But LifeStream wasn't content to just have higher yields and bigger profits. They wanted to edge their competitors out of production completely. How did they do that? By claiming the gene sequencing of their products was proprietary, like they invented DNA. As a geneticist, I despised LifeStream. As a human on planet Earth, I found their tactics frightening. Griffin, you know that Feelrite and I have had a checkered past. But the thought of messing up LifeStream's plans for global domination appealed to me. And I hadn't had a paycheck in 3 months. Girls gotta eat.
Fenn B, are you ready?
Wait, please, Director, can you tell the Inception subjects about what's happening to me?
I will let them know.
Thank you, Director. Cognos, I am ready.
Commencing thought sharing with the High Court of the Laniakea.
I feel you, Director. Fenn B, you are charged with interfering in the reality of Earth. Do you agree to remain completely open during these proceedings? To not partition your thoughts in any way?
Yes, I do.
Very well. Let us begin with a review of the historical record. Cognos?
A reality impact analysis for Lifeform Warden Fenn B identifies one instance where the Warden interfered with the reality of Earth. Other than this instance, the Warden has carried out his role within the parameters and policies of the Directorate.
Fenn B, what was the nature of the interference?
I extracted the consciousness of the Director from Earth. The Director was having an Earth vacation, borrowing a life form, a bird. He had missed his extraction appointment. I became worried. I found him, and then we extracted him.
Without Fenn B's interference, I would be dead now, or trapped in a cage. Influencer S was acting director at the time. She was unwilling to support Fenn B's efforts to save me.
Influencer S.
I was simply following the law. We all know it. No interference. That is why Earth vacations are so thrilling. There is real danger.
You are going to leave me stranded there, Influencer S.
I am not on trial, Director. The court should also know that Fenn B has had sexual congress with a human. That's right. It's disgusting.
Is this true, Fenn B?
Yes, it is true. I am in love with Inception Subject Number 1.
Judge, Fenn B has lost sight of his purpose as warden. He decided to play God. The director knew about it and supported Fenn B's behavior.
Cognos, do you confirm that the actions of Fenn B constitute interference?
Confirmed.
Fenn B, the court finds that you are guilty of reality interference. You are sentenced to 1/15 in sensory deprivation. Do you have anything to say?
I accept the sentence.
Furthermore, Director, the court finds you were an accessory to the interference. You are dismissed from your position as Director of Planets and Recreation, effective immediately. We have found a suitable directorate role for you in the portfolio of Waste Management. A very important role. I hope you will agree.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Influencer S, since you have some experience working as acting director in the Planets and Recreation portfolio, we appoint you Director of Planets and Recreation, effective immediately.
Thank you, Judge. I am very honored to be given this role, and I promise to carry...
Not now, Director S. Not now. The court will now hear the case against Hadrian L. Bring him in.
Fanboy was taken out of the court to serve out his sentence. With Fanboy and the director out of the way, Director Zanditha Ess of Planets and Recreation was free to spread her wings. Kallie was at the writer's retreat, but things weren't going the way she had hoped.
Hey, everyone sit. I've looked at your log lines. Wow. Wow, good, and wow, not so good. Look, there's no point in candy coating this. The log line is a key selling tool. If it's weak, you'll lose your prospective publishers like that. I'm handing these back. Kallie, I don't know what you're trying to say. Nice work, Olivia. We only have 3 more days to make some magic. Let's have a short lunch break today. Back at 1?
Kallie looked down at her paper. Scrawled across it were angry lines, circles, and comments in red ink. Suddenly, Kieran was standing at her desk.
Yeah, I got a bit carried away with the red pen. Looks like the scene of a violent crime, doesn't it?
Kallie stepped out into the courtyard and sat down on a bench. Suddenly, she found 2 students on either side of her.
Wow, that paper is bleeding.
Oh my god, he's so mean to you.
He's giving me lots of tough love.
Oh, screw him.
No thanks.
We're heading out after the workshop finishes today. You want to come with us?
I've got to rewrite everything. Plus, we've got to do those character breakdowns. I don't seem to be doing anything right.
Should we tell her? We should tell her.
Tell me what?
You know how we have access to the university's library while we're here? They have an AI called Seb. Simulated. What is it again?
Do we care? We use Seb to do all of the assignments.
I don't know. Kieran probably wants us to use our brains to do this stuff.
Kieran loves all the stuff that Seb produces. He's giving us A's on everything.
Isn't that kind of defeating the purpose?
What purpose? All I want is to get published.
My mom's friend, Clementine, is one of the developers of Seb.
Oh, cool. So, do you want us to show you? Scooch over.
Lachlan and Olivia showed Kallie how to use SEB. SEB generated a new log line, synopsis, and character breakdown for Kallie in 3 minutes. Assignment finished. Later that night, Lachlan, Olivia, and Kallie went out on the town.
Thought sharing commencing with the Pro-Cull Alliance.
Director S, we feel you. Congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you. Well, you all know that we put Plan A into action, and that unfortunately didn't work out. But let's talk about Plan B. The human race has come close to extinction several times in history for one reason. Famine.
Starve them. No food. Starve them.
It is very simple. The entire food chain on Earth is highly vulnerable to collapse because the system relies almost entirely on one life form.
What is it?
You will see. And this time, we will be using an agent of change. A human. Charismatic. Powerful. Influential, full of ego. I have already chosen this human. She will bring about the famine. Or so it will seem.
One human on Earth can bring about a global famine.
That is right. One person and a little Laniakian technology. Be assured, our dream of a home on Earth is within our grasp.
While Tasha Van Fielein was the CEO of Feelrite, she had been busy. Kidnapping, theft, tampering with the water supply, bribery, and even that Wildlife Act infraction that you served her, Griffin. Feelrite had sued Tasha, but Tasha's lawyers had argued diminished responsibility. Tasha had cat fever. She was ill. Feelrite had agreed to settle with Tasha for a large, undisclosed amount. Miraculously, Tasha rose from the ashes of Purrgate like a jet-propelled phoenix. She was being headhunted for a number of board and CEO positions. Tasha had launched her book, Standing Up For Me, which was climbing up the bestseller list. And she was in hot demand as a public speaker, including the Fearless Woman Symposium.
Anyone can be the victim of bullying, even a chief executive officer like myself. We women are particularly vulnerable to bullying, gaslighting, isolation, and psychological torment. That is why I have established the Velvet Glove Foundation. If you fall victim to bullying, we've got your back.
Ms. Van Fielein will take a few questions now.
Miss Van Fielein, you have completely reinvented yourself. Any advice for those of us who are stuck in the past?
Thank you for asking that. My book, Standing Up For Me, outlines an 8-point plan for reinvention of self. The best investment you can ever make is in yourself.
Tasha, you have a super busy schedule. How do you manage to keep so fit?
Good question. What does any sort of career success matter if our bodies aren't healthy and strong?
Tasha looked out into an adoring audience and saw a familiar face in the center of the third row. She gave Zanditha Ess the smallest nod of her head. After the speech, Candace, Tasha's executive assistant, had set up a book signing table next to the bar. A long queue of fans, clutching their new hardcover copies of Tasha's book, sipped Prosecco and waited for her to sign them. Suddenly, Zanditha Ess appeared before Tasha and handed her a copy of the book.
Nice to see you again. To whom should I make the dedication?
And don't bother. I'm not going to read it. Do you remember what we discussed?
Of course.
Well, it's time to change the world.
When the book signing was finished, Tasha stepped out of the building to find a black limousine idling outside. The driver leapt out, came around, and quickly opened the door for her. Tasha gracefully disappeared into the back seat.
Tasha, have a glass of champagne with me, and let me explain how you are going to be the most powerful woman in the world. To your success.
Cheers.
Oh, there is one condition. You're going to fire your executive assistant and hire me.
But Candace has been with me for years.
Well, maybe it's time you promoted her. Driver, once around Central Park, please.
Are you any good at blow-drying hair?
Laine's powers had opened up her mind to all living things. On one hand, it was mind-blowing and beautiful, but it was also disturbing. Even her work as a veterinarian was becoming difficult. As a vet, Laine had to put pets to sleep almost every day. She had always hated doing it, but now with her powers, it was unbearable.
Jillian! How are you two? Hey, Cookie, how's my handsome boy?
Not good, Laine. When he wants to go outside to wee, he doesn't always make it.
We're all getting older, aren't we, Cookie?
I think it's time, Laine.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Today?
Today.
Do you want to be with Cookie when it happens?
Oh, no, I couldn't. I'll wait here.
Come on, Cookie, let's take a walk. I've got some treats out back that will blow your mind.
Later that day, Laine called me.
I don't know, Gracie. I'm not enjoying this work like I used to. I'm thinking I might sell the business. It's time for a bee change.
A what?
Well, people have seed changes and tree changes. I'm thinking about a bee change.
Well, then you'll have to come with me to the Future of Pollination. I've got VIP passes. LifeStream was the main sponsor of the Future of Pollination, a mega trade show and conference for anyone interested in bees, beekeeping, or honey products. In the center of the massive conference floor, LifeStream's stand was a gleaming temple to its supremacy over nature.
Make your way over to the Pure Honey stand and try a complimentary Manuka Honey eye gel treatment. Relaxing and refreshing.
While I hovered around the LifeStream stand, nibbling on their perfect, fluffy, genetically modified popcorn, Laine walked around the convention floor, gathering a bulging show bag of freebies and goodies. She spotted a stand for the Women's Bee Collective. There, in the center of the stand, was Josie Hansel. Laine and Josie were lovers in university, but when school was finished, Josie had gone back home to North Dakota.
Who is this goddess before me?
Josie! Are you back in Whitney?
I am, but just for a week. I'm a keynote speaker at this thing.
Excuse me, Miss Hansel. We have to mic you up.
I'm at the Women's Bee Co-op in the Valley until the end of the week. You should come out, my friend. It's beautiful out there right now.
Can I clip this on your belt? Great. Then we need to run this wire up, through your shirt.
Here, let me do it. Laine, I have to go now, but let's catch up later.
Josie flashed Laine a brilliant smile and followed the sound technician towards the theater.
Our beginner's beekeeping workshop begins in 20 minutes in breakout room D.
Laine wandered to the next stand, a company called Busy Bee Industrial.
Hello, welcome to Busy Bee. Here, have a taste of our legendary fireweed honey.
Thanks. Oh, that's good.
What's your interest in the conference?
I'm thinking about keeping bees.
As a hobby or professionally?
Professional, I guess.
Great. Well, you might consider a diploma in apiology. We run an accredited school. Here's our brochure. We have an open house tomorrow as part of the conference. You should come out, check out our facilities. They're world class.
Oh, thanks.
Laine was drawn to a beehive at the center of the Busy Bee stand. Along one side was a glass panel so that people could see inside. The hive was filled with honeycomb and tunnels and was teeming with bees. In the center was a chamber labeled the Queen's Keep. Laine smiled at the joke and bent down to peer in, half expecting to see a queen bee with a tiny crown sitting in a throne.
Hey there, Your Majesty.
To the untrained eye, all bees look alike, but Laine knew how to spot her, the queen. And then the queen demanded an audience. Laine and the queen became one. Laine was aware that every bee was the queen's child. The hive throbbed with shared purpose and unity. Laine's nostrils were bombarded by pheromones. The queen could speak to all bees in her domain without moving.
Whoa!
Our keynote panel on the future of pollination will be held on center stage in 3 minutes.
Laine staggered back from the hive, and together we entered the theater. In front of the stage was a gray pyramid, about as tall as a man. In front of the pyramid was a sign that said, "The Future of Pollination." Applause rippled through the audience as 3 keynote speakers came into the stage. Josie, Lester, and...
Gracie, is that?
Yes, it is. Tasha Van Fielein in a honey yellow one-piece leather jumpsuit with a diagonal zipper snaking across her svelte figure. She sure knew how to throw an outfit together. Standing behind Tasha was her executive assistant, but it wasn't Candace.
Welcome to the Future of Pollination, and a big thank you to our platinum sponsor, LifeStream. We are honoured to bring you an expert panel. Starting on my right is Lester Powell of Busy Bee Industrial. We also have Josie Hansel from the Women's Bee Cooperative, and on my left is Tasha Van Fielein. Tasha is the new CEO of LifeStream. Please welcome our panel.
Wasn't she just in prison? The girl knows how to bounce back.
We've got some great questions from you all. Let's get started. Our first question is for you, Josie. It is, what is the difference between organic bee farming and regular bee farming?
That's a great question. Organic bee farming works without chemicals, but mostly it's about achieving a partnership with the bees. We give them a safe space to live, and they share their honey with us. We don't exploit them.
Lester, you look like you have something to say.
Well, it's no secret. We work our bees hard, and we have the A-team of bees. But let's be clear, they work for us.
Thanks, Lester. Here's a question for you, Ms. Van Fielein. As the new CEO of LifeStream, how are you going to make your mark?
That's a great question, Clyde. But I'd much rather show you than tell you. I am pleased to unveil the real future of pollination, B+.
So Tasha was the new CEO of LifeStream. She waved her hand gracefully towards the gray pyramid in front of the stage.
What is B+? In a word, nanodrones. Our nanodrones are able to pollinate flowers and collect nectar at 20 times the speed of a conventional bee. Each drone is smaller than a grain of sand. They fly at speeds up to 100 kilometers per hour. Our drones don't get sick. Our drones don't care how cold it is. They don't need to rest.
That all sounds very interesting, but I can't see a human-operated drone taking the place of the bee anytime soon.
Mr. Powell, LifeStream does not propose replacing bees. Our nanodrones will complement the work of the bees. B+ will free bees from slavery. What's more, LifeStream has a goal to end world hunger in 10 years. Would you like to see B+ in action?
Tasha nodded to her new executive assistant, who tapped a tablet. The pyramid in front of the stage hummed. Then the sharp edges of the pyramid began to soften, then blur, then dissolve into a large, shapeless cloud of gray smoke. The cloud quickly formed into a V, hovered overhead in the theater, issuing a high-pitched hum.
That sound reminds me of the dentist.
And as of this morning, I am pleased to announce that LifeStream has acquired Feelrite. Through that acquisition, LifeStream now has a global distribution network for our fleet of nanodrones. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of pollination is now.
There it was. Feelrite was now part of LifeStream. While Laine and I watched the fleet of nanodrones fly in a perfect circle around the theater.
Dr. Rowland, are you impressed?
Hello, Tasha. You know, Feelrite offered the CEO role on Monday.
I hope you accept. Oh, please meet my new executive assistant, Zara Smith.
Zara and I nodded at each other. I had thought shared with Zanditha Ess, but I had never seen her. I didn't know that this tall, leggy redhead with piercing green eyes was humanity's worst enemy.
Grace, I really hope we can work together. Just think of what LifeStream and Feelrite can achieve if you and I joined forces. We would be unstoppable.
The lights had dimmed in the main hall, and each drone was illuminated with a tiny bead of light. They began to dance and change formation. First a star, then a flower, then a dragon, then a hand, slowly flexing its fingers.
Thank you for listening to episode 2 of season 3 of Girls Night Out. Stay tuned for episode 3, which is coming up next. Bringing this story to life are our wonderful voice actors. Nancy Zelno is Grace, Jen Lyles is Laine, Marie Ann Watson is Clementine, Matthew Moore is Fenn B, Kate Stewart is Kallie, Kristen P.K. Reeve is Cognos, Martin Lavelle is the director, Sarah Zaversanuk is Zanditha Ess, Brock Kabarak is Hadrian, Dan Egan is Sebastian, Seb, and Griffin, Aiden Pickering is Trevor Frost, Wendy Page is Tasha, Nevin Stoltz is Kieran O, Abigail Halen is Candace, Shay Dudak is the Alliance, Mithan MK is the Judge, Mika Vertanen is Hell's Hammer Security Guard, Chuck Galco is Security Guard and Mercenary 1, Rich Green is Mike and Joe Born with a Tooth, Cherie Price is Fearless Woman MC and Jillian, Greg Rogan is Paul, Kevin Delacry is Lachlan, Leanna Tang is Olivia, Joe Pavia is Lester, Viv Rain Jones is Josie, Zachary Snow is Kestrel Venn, Greg Flynn is Master of Ceremonies, Reporter, and Board Member, Greg Johnson is Mercenary 2. Other roles were performed by Christina Molina, Ryan Wiley, Lisa Spiegel, Kevin Delacry, Nevin Stoltz, and Matthew Moore. Girls Night Out is written by Mary Labrie and produced by Time Warp Studios. Original music, We Are Alive, was written and produced by Dan Egan. Sound engineering and editing was done by Mary Labrie. Other music was Alice in Winter by Nuclear Conception, If It Ain't Rock and Roll by The Revolution, Take the Long Way Home cover by Sly Wagon, The Unexplained by Wicked Cinema. Check out our website, www.timewarpstudios.com, or find all the details in the show notes for this podcast. Remember, episode 3 of season 3 is up next, so stay tuned and thank you for joining us in this reality vector.